Alright, we gotta find our way out of this freezer. Let's see what we got in here. Dry ice. Dry ice? Can't you make that stuff cause an explosion if you seal it in something airtight? Explode? Yeah, didn't you do that in school? You should never underestimate the power of expanding gas. I have to wonder if he's meant to making a joke there. Junpei picked up the dry ice with his sleeves so as to avoid burning himself. The dry ice is just frozen carbon dioxide, right? Yeah, it is. I wonder how warm it has to get for it to turn back into gas again. Hell if I know. How's that gonna help us anyway? Oh, well, I figured we might be able to use it to get out of here. They were about to move on when June spoke up. Carbon dioxide's sublimation point is negative 109 degrees. Any warmer than that and it'll turn into a gas. Any lower and it becomes a solid. Junpei looked at her, dumbfounded. How do you know that? Despite my looks, I'm the queen, the clean? What? Anyway, despite my looks, I'm the queen of random knowledge. Looks bad to mess up when you're showing off. What? Argle mouth. Oh, you're so cold your mouth's going numb. Yef. That's why. You're just doing that on purpose, aren't you? June giggled and did her best to hide her guilt. At least she was still feeling good enough to joke around, Junpei told himself. Come on, guys. Don't you think that's kind of weird? I wonder why it doesn't turn into a liquid first. Santa was now shivering at an astounding rate, but his curiosity seemed unaffected. Junpei, however, was not in a mood to discuss science. He wanted out of the freezer, now. His patience was wearing thin. How the hell would I know? And how the hell is that going to help us get out of here? We don't have time for this crap. Actually... Junpei stopped mid-sentence, surprised by June's interjection. Under enough pressure, carbon dioxide will turn into a liquid. This isn't really a good time for a chat about science. But I was wondering the same thing. Wondering what? Wondering why carbon dioxide doesn't turn into a liquid unless it's under pressure. Right. It just seems weird. Water's a liquid between 32 degrees and 212 degrees. So why isn't that the case for carbon dioxide? H2O and CO2 are pretty similar. No, they're not. They're totally different substances. Look, guys, if we keep this up, we're just gonna freeze to death. You good with that? You wanna die talking about sublimation and gases? Because I sure as hell don't. He fixed both of them with a glare. Now let's get back to work. Assuming you don't want to end up like a pair of ice sculptures. Junpei turned around and the problem dealt with. Or so he thought. There's a kind of ice that doesn't turn into a liquid when it goes above 32 degrees. Hmm? I heard about it. Its melting point is 96 degrees. Its melting point is 96 degrees? You mean there's water that freezes at 96 degrees? Yeah. Well, you could also look at it as ice that won't melt until it's 96 degrees. Water that freezes at 96 degrees? Ice that won't melt until it's 96 degrees? Guys, it doesn't matter. It was strange, but no. Junpei told himself it didn't matter. Their first concern needed to be leaving the freezer, or none of them would be around to ponder scientific quandaries for very long. He did his best to pretend he'd heard nothing, and resumed his investigation of the room. Alright, back to looking around. I think there's more to do in here. So we have sort of a guessing game as to what you can pick up. It's a chunk of frozen chicken, okay. And other things that are nothing, apparently. Over here, there's some frozen meat up there. It looks like pork. Huh? What's this? It looks like a tag or something. There's something sticking out of this pork. Jumpy, is there a slip of paper in that meat? I think there's something written on here, but I can't read it like this. If we try and pull it out, it'll probably rip. You need to defrost that. Don't think we're going to be doing that in this room. Anything else over here? Everything's frozen in here. It doesn't look like there's anything else interesting. Down here. Oh, here we go. A water bottle. What's in it? A water bottle. Yes, it is. Thanks. Some sturdy rope. Okay. Anything else? There isn't anything else here that looks useful. Alright. Well, then we must have everything we need. Let's take a look at this. No good. I can't hit it hard enough to break it. Maybe it just needs more of a shock, you know? More of a shock. Okay. Well, we know... Wait. We know that we can use dry ice to make an explosion if we put it in a sealed container, right? Alright, so let's put the dry ice into the bottle. Well, I guess it won't fit. It's all in a big brick, isn't it? So we can break the dry ice with a hammer made of chicken. Yeah, that's actually what you're supposed to do. Alright, the dry ice is all in pieces now. Crumbled dry ice. Alright, so I can put that in here. I'm gonna put these pieces of dry ice into the water bottle. Water bottle with dry ice in it. And then I guess we can make a bomb out of it. Maybe like tie it to the door. And let's just tie a rope on here. Water bottle bomb, okay. Hey, why don't we use that rope to tie the bottle onto the doorknob? We just have to put some water in it, and then if we can give it a good whack with something, kaboom! It'll explode and break the ice off the door. Then what are we waiting for? I can't take this cold any longer. Okay. Let's, oops. Let's attach this. Warm water dripped from the ruptured pipe near the door. Junpei pulled out the water bottle filled with dry ice, let a good amount of water fall in, and then quickly sealed it up tight. The makeshift bomb complete, he tied it to the doorknob as quickly as he could manage in the cold. Alright, that's set. So, what do we do now? We just need to give it a little tap. The bottle's already about to pop. If we just throw a rock or something at it, it'll go off all on its own. A small rock. Junpei looked down at the floor. Scattered across it were pieces of dry ice, left over from the larger chunk he'd crushed earlier. Alright, this ought to do the trick. He pulled his sleeve down over his hand to keep from getting burned, and grabbed the chunk of dry ice. It was a pretty good size, about as big as a pool ball. He figured it would be just about the right size. Alright guys, stand back. Actually, we should probably hide somewhere. Both Santa and June looked at him with new concern. Where exactly do you expect us to hide, genius? There isn't really anywhere big enough. Yeah, there is. Look, right here. We can hide in there. And Junpei pulled open the door to the small cellar. Come on, get inside, quick. Santa and June nodded and jumped down into the hole. Junpei quickly followed. In his hand, he could feel the chill of the frozen carbon dioxide, even through his sleeve. He tightened his grip, took aim, and prepared to throw. Alright, here it goes. 3, 4, 5. You're counting the wrong way! The number of the counting shall be 3. Not 4, and 5 is right out! And then what is it? Thou shalt not count to 2, unless if then proceed on to 3. Oops. That is a really sad excuse for a joke, man. It's gotta be a Monty Python reference there, right? It's gotta be. Sorry, dude. Alright, for real this time. You guys ready? Yes. Whenever you're ready. Just throw the damn thing. Alright, here I go. 3, 2, 1. Junpei threw the chunk of dry ice as hard as he could. With the same motion, he ducked down into the cellar with Santa and June, just as... Junpei leapt up out of the cellar and ran to the door. Junpei! The ice on the door! Is it gone? Yeah, it's gone. The blast must have shattered it. Yeah, alright. Let's see if it opens. Junpei grabbed the knob and pushed with all his might. The door gave way easily, and all 3 of them tumbled out of the freezer at once. Hooray! We're out! June, relieved, collapsed onto the floor. Move! Santa shoved past Junpei and ran straight to the grill, which he immediately grabbed. Ow! God damn it! Hot, fuck! He proceeded to kick the grill in a futile but amusing fit of rage. But where was Lotus? It took Junpei only a moment to find her. She was sitting on the counter, idly scratching her chest. Welcome back. I was starting to get tired of waiting for you guys. With a great yawn, Lotus lowered herself off the counter. Junpei clenched his teeth and walked toward her. What were you doing? What do you mean, what was I doing? I was waiting. We were gonna die. Oh yeah? But you didn't, so everything's worked out alright, didn't it? What the hell? Just kidding. It might not look like it, but I was really worried. Don't give me that crap. I'm just telling the truth. I mean, if you died, then I'd be in trouble too. If you died, then I'd be stuck here, and I'd die too. See? I did all I could. I even looked around to see if there was anything I could use to pry open the door. But I couldn't find anything. So all I could do was wait. I mean, what else did you want me to do? Call the cops? It was true that there wasn't much she could have done, but something about her tone. Junpei gritted his teeth. Fine. But there's one thing I have to ask you. What's that? You didn't close the door, did you? What? You think I closed the door on you? Why would I do something like that? It closed on its own. I told you before, if you die, then I die too. She was right, and Junpei knew it. Without them, she'd be in very serious trouble. It seemed that an accident was the only explanation for the door's closure. If Lotus had really wanted to kill them, all she would have had to do was bar the door from the outside. And she hadn't. Well, she hadn't done anything. The most she was guilty of was laziness or negligence, not attempted murder. Junpei swallowed his anger and did his best to apologize. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I doubted you. Oh, yes, well, that's all right. As long as you understand. Lotus looked away and twirled her hair between her fingertips. His vengeance against the gorilla complete, Santa swaggered back toward Junpei and Lotus. Hey, no more screwing around, you two. Break time's over. Especially for you, lady. You just been sitting on your fat ass of yours while we were freezing to death. How rude. I was plenty busy. Yeah? How about you put all that energy into something besides bitching? Let's go! Alright, so now we have a chunk of frozen meat. Which, maybe this table's for preparing food. Okay, thank you. I wanted to click on the grill. So we should be able to cook it now. We have a grill here. Guess I'll put this meat on the grill. Hey, what are you doing? What are you gonna do if the paper burns? Come on, it'll be fine. I mean, it's not like it's gonna burn right away, right? We just gotta keep an eye on it. The paper will be fine. Well, they can argue all they want. I'm gonna keep an eye on this pork. Cool, looks like it's about time. I'm gonna try taking the paper out. Jumpy, be careful. Sweet of her to care, but I know that I'm... Ouch! See? I told you. What the hell are you doing? Hurry up and take the paper out. It's not coming out. This thing's frozen stiff. I can't get it out. So are we going to have to cut it? Cut the meat? Yeah, it looks that way. Well, I think we have a nice sharp knife for earlier, huh? Alright, now that I've sharpened the knife... Yes, I cut the pork! Awesome, Junpei. Now we can cut out the paper. Pork note. Let me just turn this way. C10F. Do you think it's some kind of code? Damn it, they're just screwing around. Junpei, do you know what C and F stand for? You think maybe it means corporate finance? I thought it was clever and funny. No, so what you're supposed to get from this is, we had a puzzle earlier, where was it? Or these, taught us about the hexadecimal system. So it's reasonable to assume that these letters aren't letters at all, but numbers. So, C, 10, and F. Now the first time I came across this puzzle, I was actually flummoxed, because I made a rookie mistake. So I thought, oh, okay, the C and the F must be hexadecimal. So what's C? Well, hex goes, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, so that would be 10, 11, 12, so C's 12, and F I know offhand is 15. So it's 12 plus 15 plus 10. Okay, so that comes out to, well, obviously this passcode is going to be for this only thing in the room that has the numbers on it, so let's just see what we can do here. This is probably what you're supposed to use to enter the password. Maybe if we put the right number, it'll open the oven door. Junpei, maybe the note you found earlier. Yeah, I know. Do you know how to enter those numbers? I think E is for enter. Yeah, they're telling us how to use the buttons, really. So basically, when I'm ready to move my answer, I press E, and if I press up, I press C. Yeah, okay. No, it's not. Alright, let's give it a shot. So we got 12, 10, and F, so that's... Or C, 10, and F, so that's 12, 10, F. Or so I thought. And so it's like, okay, 15 plus 12 is 27, plus 10 is 37. And that's not right. So I was like, what's wrong with this? And I did the math in my head. I was like, okay, I counted again. C is definitely 12. F is definitely 15. Oh, but of course 10 isn't 10. Why would the C and the F be in hexadecimal and the 10 be in standard decimal? That doesn't make any sense. So the 10 is also a hexadecimal number. And that was like the aha moment for me at this one. It was like, of course, why would they mix the bases? If it's C and F, the 10 is also in hex. So the 10 is actually a 16. So you take it again, 27 not plus 10, but plus 16, and you get 43. That's a little bit tricky at first, and I gotta admit, it's like, oh, we gotta remember. Just because it says 10, and it looks like decimal, doesn't mean it's necessarily a decimal number. Yeah, the door opened. Good job, Jumpy. Let's see what's in here. It's the Saturn keycard. Alright. Well, does that get us out of here? Yes! Oh, actually said yes, and then Jumpy said it. I think it's unlocked now. You did it, Jumpy. Let's get out of here. Yes, let's go. That's 2 puzzle rooms down. Many more to go. They stepped out of the kitchen and into a hallway that looked rather familiar. A metal grate stretched from wall to wall. Beyond it were 2 elevators and the entrance to the kitchen. They had entered the kitchen from one door and come out of the other. That meant the map of the ship's interior was accurate. They laid the map out in front of them and began to discuss their next step. The yellow dot is your "you are here" mark. There were 4 possible routes. A, B, C, and D. First, A and B. Both seemed to connect to an L-shaped room. However, the 2 doors that led to the room were both locked and could not be opened. No scanners, no keycards, no nothing, just locked doors. Next was Route C. This goes all the way to the main staircase. That means it's door 5, one of the numbered doors. Then, do you think we could meet up with the other 4 after this hallway? No, I don't think we will. Why not? Look, there by the stairs. See how the gate is opened? When we went into the kitchen, it was closed. But it's open now. What do you think that means? They opened it. Most likely. And if we take Route C, we're going backwards. That would be pointless. Then that means... All 4 looked at the map. Route D it is. Down the stairs. They all looked at the staircase. It's a lazy curve leading down, deeper into the ship. Route D then. D it is. Yep, Route D. Then we're all set. They jogged down the stairs until they reached the C deck. Just to be sure, they kept going, to check the deck beneath. Yeah, it's just like I thought. D-deck is totally underwater. Just like the bottom of the central staircase. The water gazed back at them, its smooth surface like a great mirror. As ominous as it was, Junpei took at least some comfort from the fact that the level hadn't gone up much since the last time he'd seen it. They turned back to C-deck. It didn't take them long to find the 2 elevators in front of the stairs. They looked identical to the elevators on the top floor, with one exception. These elevators had a card reader on the wall between them. On the card reader was a strange mark. Hey look, it's Lotus's symbol. Huh? See, it's the woman symbol with a thorn on it. That seems like... Ow, 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 ow! Lotus had taken a hold of Junpei's hair. She began to shake him violently, and he thought he heard a low growl coming from her throat. Such violence! Junpei began to wonder if she was not the devil itself. With an uncomfortable smile, June spoke up. This is a Mercury symbol. The thorn symbolizes the wings on Hermes' staff. Hermes, herpes, whatever. If we can't get this thing to work, these elevators aren't going anywhere. In other words, we need a keycard with the Mercury symbol on it. Probably. They gave up on the elevator and returned to the stairs. A hallway stretched out to the left. Wow. A great many doors lined both sides of the hallway. They weren't sure how many, but certainly enough to be discouraging. Damn it! If we try and search all these, the sun's gonna go down before we've done half of them. I think the sun already set. I have a feeling this ship is the only thing that's gonna be going down anytime soon. That's even worse! Well, we can come back to this hallway later. Let's check the hallway on the other side, shall we? Frustration and fear building, they walked back to the stairs. To their right was a small hallway. Quickly, they headed into it. It was approximately the same size as the alcove in front of the stairs. The hallway led toward the stern, and at the end of it was a set of double doors. Let's open it. Junpei nodded and grabbed the one closest to him. He gave it a small tug and felt it move. It was unlocked. Thrilled to have found an unlocked door, he threw it open. Junpei didn't know what to make of what he saw. Three, 7, and 8. He simply stood, unable to speak. The others simply stared, open-mouthed. After a few long moments, Santa managed to speak. What the hell is this? A massive room stretched out in front of them, more a cavern than a room. Its vastness was oppressive, and it bore down on the 4 companions. It was not empty, however. The entire room was filled with lines upon lines of beds. They were simple things, little more than pipe and thin mattresses. Is this a hospital? He had at last been able to put a name to the harsh scent that pervaded the room. The room swam with the harsh, biting smell of antiseptic. In the center of the room were shelves stacked with medicine, and a number of medical devices, the function of which Junpei did not know. More importantly, however, on the back wall of the room were 4 doors. 3 of them were emblazoned with large, single-digit numbers made with thick, red paint. The door on the left was labeled 3. The second door from the left had no number, but the third had been given a 7. And the rightmost door had an 8. There could be no doubt they were numbered doors. It did strike Junpei as strange, however, that the door between 3 and 7 should be blank. What, he wondered, could it mean? Let's take a look at the doors. Yes, that sounds like a good plan. Junpei headed toward the doors, weaving his way between the beds. He started with door 3 on the left, and moved to the right until he reached door 8. It's no use. Well, of course. If it was that easy to open these doors, what would be the point of the nonary game? We have to activate the red, or the numbered doors won't... Wait a minute. What's wrong? Look, the display on the red. There's nothing on it. Huh? Don't you remember? The red at the central staircase? If no one was inside, it said vacant. Oh yeah, you're right. But this one... There's nothing on it, right? I wonder if it's broken. Only one way to find out. It didn't respond. All 4 took turns placing their hands over the red, but it refused to respond. As they pulled at the lever, and still it did nothing. As they soon discovered, it wasn't only the red for door 8 that was behaving strangely. The red on door 7 also refused to respond, and door 3 was similarly silent. None of them would respond. What did it mean? I knew it. They're broken. Zero sure sucks at maintenance. No, that's impossible. You really think Zero, who prepared all of this, would make such a stupid, simple mistake? Maybe, but that doesn't explain why this thing ain't working. It was at that moment they heard a voice from behind them. I believe the bottom of the device has been removed. They spun around to see... Snake! But it was more than just Snake. Ace, Clover, and Seven quickly filed into the room as well. Although they were glad to see one another, it wasn't terribly surprising that they had. If it had been the other party who'd opened the gate in front of the kitchen, it wasn't unreasonable that they bump into each other eventually. The rest of Sneak's team, however, did look rather surprised. How did you end up here? After a moment of silence and surprise, everyone suddenly began to talk, desperate to exchange information. They talked about the rooms they'd been through, and how they'd end up in the same place. Of course, none of it was very useful information, but that hardly mattered. They were happy to simply see one another again. Although the level of cheer varied greatly from person to person, each one of them was wearing some manner of smile, almost as though they had already forgotten about the death of the ninth man. No, thought Junpei. Perhaps that wasn't it. Perhaps thoughts of his death were what drove them to smile at one another. Not in a morbid or hateful way, no. The ninth man had died, but they were still alive, and that was something to be happy about. A sort of simple, uncomplicated joy, Junpei thought. The joy of being alive. Still alive. He felt sorry for the ninth man, but more than anything, Junpei was just happy to be alive. There you have it, our half of the story. His part finished, Ace fell silent. For a moment, Junpei was silent in thought. Then he spoke. Okay, let me see if I've got all this straight. When you guys got here, the bases for the Reds were already gone. And you looked all over this room, but you couldn't find anything. So you figured that there might be something in the hallway with the doors. So you went and had a look. Yeah. And while you were looking around... Wrong voice. And while you were looking around, you heard voices? Uh-huh. So you followed the voices and came back here. Indeed. And that was how we found you? Junpei examined the three Reds again, just in case. On the bottom of each was a long, thin gap. It looked like a slot for something. Probably something electronic. Well, this isn't good. If the Red is inactive, we can't keep going. Well, what about that hallway over there? Isn't there anywhere else we can go? No, there isn't. There are plenty more hospital rooms, but nothing else. Hospital rooms? That's what's behind all those doors? Yes. There are a number of individual rooms in addition to this large one. There was a door at the end of the hallway, but it was locked. There was an astrological symbol engraved near the keyhole, however. I was able to get a good feel of it. I believe it was the symbol of Jupiter. Not again. Those goddamn things are everywhere. I wonder what they all mean. For a moment, everyone was silent, deep in thought. While we're asking what things mean, what's the deal with this room? I mean, I thought this was a cruise ship, but I can't imagine a cruise ship would have a hospital like this. Of all people, it was Seven who answered, and with calm confidence. Well, I figure it's probably a hospital ship. Chances are it's the Gigantic. The Gigantic? Junpei looked confused. So did everyone else. What is this Gigantic? Seven knit his brows for a moment, then began to explain. The Gigantic. He explained that she had been a sister ship to the Titanic, built in the early 20th century. The Titanic had two sister ships who were identical to one another in nearly every aspect. The Gigantic was said to be one of them. She was initially planned to be a passenger liner, like the Titanic, but soon after the ship was launched, the First World War began, and she was pressed into duty by the British Navy as a hospital ship. Sometime later, the Gigantic was damaged by a German mine in the Aegean Sea. She managed to run aground after the incident, and consequently was not sunk. What, then, happened to the Gigantic after her fateful encounter on the Aegean Sea? One theory ran that a man named Lord Gordain purchased her. Lord Gordain, it seemed, had been one of the few survivors of the Titanic tragedy, and that trauma had turned him into an obsessive collector of all things related to the Titanic. As his obsession deepened, he began to desire the Titanic itself. That, of course, was impossible. The Titanic lay at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. The Gigantic, however, had not suffered such a dire fate, and she was identical to her sister ship. And as she was identical to her sister ship, she caught Lord Gordain's eye. So you're saying this Lord Gordain bought the ship? Yeah, at least I think I am. That's impossible. No way we're in some boat that's almost 100 years old. Pipe down. Just pay attention. What? Wait, that's it? Well, have you got any proof? Proof? Proof that this ship really is the Gigantic.
Well, the ship's got stuff that's like the Titanic and a hospital ship, so I just figured.
Oh, goodness. Don't tell me that's your only reason.
No, I've got more.
Like?
Well, I mean...
Sutton looked around desperately, doing anything to avoid meeting Lotus's piercing stare. He scratched his head for a moment, then gave up. Finally, he opened his mouth.
I don't know.
Lotus sighed and shook her head. I guess your memory isn't back yet, is it?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Hey, wait a minute. Memory isn't back. Junpei was, he felt, legitimately shocked by what seemed to be new and very important information. Everyone else, however, seemed unimpressed. In fact, they all looked at Junpei as though he had said something very strange. He decided to revise his attitude for the next question. Wait, was I the only one that didn't know? Everyone nodded. Why?
Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't tell you, huh? I told the rest of them before we ran into you on the stairs. I told them I couldn't remember a damn thing before I woke up.
What? Then, almost as if to save Junpei from further embarrassment. A bell began to ring from far away. It sounded as though it was the clock at the main stairway. Junpei counted each chime carefully. It's midnight. Then we've still got 6 hours left, right?
We don't have any time to screw around. Let's get going. We gotta find the missing parts for those Reds.
What do you mean, find? How on earth do you propose we do that?
We looked everywhere in this room. That only leaves one place to look.
One?
Well, I guess it's not really right.
Wait. Don't tell me you mean we need to search every one of the other rooms.
Don't freak out. We already searched 4 of them.
4 rooms?
We just have to split the rest up between the 8 of us. If each person does 6 rooms, that'll be 48 rooms, right?
So there are 48 rooms left? Her earlier experiences had apparently not encouraged Lotus to trust Seven, or his math. Seven scratched his head awkwardly.
I don't know.
After a little more discussion, they split up and headed toward the rooms to begin searching them. Junpei was chosen to search the rooms on the starboard side, moving from fore to aft. They also determined when they would return to report their findings, the next time the clock sounded the time. When it did, they would meet back in the large central room full of beds. If, during their search, any one of them were to locate the missing components, they were to yell for the others. If the strategy failed, they'd return to discuss their options later. The details decided, they left to begin searching. Out into the hallway they went, each to the rooms they'd been assigned. However,